it's a kind of contemporary issue right now. Because of the way we're attacking homelessness, and we talked about housing first, and there's a supply problem and so on. We are moving in a direction in communities across Canada when it comes to the group of people with significant or severe and persistent mental health problems, often with addictions. We're putting up congregate, quasi-institutional housing called supportive housing. And that's not housing first. People will say, "Oh yeah, but it's being guided by housing first principles or housing first values." But there's no preference. The way it works in Ottawa is if there's supportive housing available and you're on the waiting list, you either take the supportive housing or there's nothing. You get to the back of the line again. And so the choice part is so fundamental, for people. And if the surveys have been very clear of people who are homeless, by the way. When you ask them what type of housing they want to live in, they say, "I want to live in the same kind of housing that everybody lives with, and I want to choose who I live with." I don't, they don't choose communal housing, which is what this supportive housing is, with common areas and so on. Some of them may, and I'm not saying we don't need some of that, but I think what's happening now, because it's build, and there's a group of people, they can't live on their own. We better put in some specialized housing, and there better be on-site supports and staff and so on. That's just not in line with kind of, recovery principles of the recovery movement in community mental health. And so that concerns me right now. So it's a bit of an editorial, but you can use it if you want.
That's perfect. That's perfect. It's in line with many of the other underlying things that we see in policy. It's the same, for example, with seniors. This bed comes up in a nursing home. You have no choice.
That's right.
You take this bed, or you're left at home. And your 90-year-old husband is trying to look after you, and they've moved you now 30 kilometers away because that's where the bed came up, and there's no choice.
It's a loss of autonomy.
Absolutely,
that's the thing.
It's an underlying. Here we are, wonderful. We're giving you this.
Yeah.
And you either take it or you're.
Well, and the other part to it is the rent supplement we talked about earlier. It's tied to the unit in the supportive housing, and it's not going. If people decide I can't live here anymore, or I want to live somewhere else, that rent supplement stays with the unit. It's not attached to the person. So that's where the problem is. That's where they lose agency.
Yeah, for sure. And agency is what we all need. We all need to.
I think we're getting there in mental health services. That there's a realization that if people aren't in control of their lives, that's a real recipe for for mental health difficulties.
Yeah, for sure.